everybody, and welcome to Roll Together RPG and to the next episode of What the Heck Does That Card Do? My name is Josh. I am one of your hosts for tonight, and as you can see, I am joined by somebody else who's going to be another host for tonight. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Chris. I use they them pronouns. I am your other host for tonight.
We are here today to talk about some commanders and some cards that you may find in the deck, some cards that you may not find in the deck, some oddballs, as well as some that are stupidly good. Today, this episode and the next episode, we are talking about commanders from Modern Horizons 3. We've both picked a commander from there, and we're going to talk about them. This episode is a commander that I have a deck for, and next episode will be a commander that Chris has a deck for. Yeah. But for today, we are talking about Satya Aetherflux Genius.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. He is from the Energy Reserve Precon from Modern Horizons 3. He is a white, red, and blue and 1 3/5 human artificer. He has menace and haste, and his effect reads: whenever Satya Aetherflux Genius, or Aetherflux Genius, depending on how you say it, attacks, create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of up to one other target non-token creature you control. You get 2 energy counters. At the beginning of the next end step, sacrifice that token unless you pay an amount of energy equal to its mana value.
Modern Horizons 3. What does your commander do? Wall of text.
Yes. Looking back at it, yes, there's a lot of them that do a lot of things, and some of them have some really big setup as well.
It's a Modern Horizons set. It's a Modern Horizons set. Modern Horizons was always... And I don't know if they're still going to keep doing it because the last one was such a disaster. But the whole idea was to print cards directly into the modern format, which is a format of Magic where the ban list isn't the same as standard. It's a bit different. But every time they've done it, they've absolutely broken modern because they print modern cards to be more powerful, more explosive, to do more crazy things. So Modern Horizons says, at least precons sold for a lot of money. They were, how much were they? Were they 80 quid a pop?
They were when... obviously after pre-orders and all that, the Eldrazi one is still sitting around £150.
Even the pre-orders, like they were on sale. The MSRP on sale was like, it was high from the get-go.
It was like Final Fantasy level. Obviously, they came out before Final Fantasy did, but they were on the sort of level that the Final Fantasy ones were up to. They've dropped down in price now. I pre-ordered Satya when it went on the thing because I wanted to do something different, because not anybody I played with, nobody had energy, so I was like, I'll get the energy precon, and I had the Fallout one as well, so I was like, I'll mesh them together.
Yeah. And energy is quite famously powerful and is used a lot in modern. It's used a lot. Well, it was for a while in standard as well. Energy is a really powerful secondary resource. You build up the resource by doing something. Your cards will give you more energy, and then you have this secondary resource alongside mana, I suppose tertiary alongside cards in hand as well, that power up what you do in different ways. So it's just another easy way. And I think part of the problem is when energy first came out was Kaladesh? Yes, energy was first in Kaladesh, that's right. And Kaladesh is a long time ago now. It was the first time they went to Kaladesh, which is now known as Avishkar, because Kaladesh was a slightly racist name. It means something like Land of Black. It's not good. But yes, when they first did it, when energy first came in, they went, this is going to be an underpowered resource, so we should definitely make sure that you can make a lot of it. So a lot of cards made it. Is willy-nilly an exaggeration? Maybe not.
In excess.
Like, Attune with Ether is the classic. Attune with Ether is I think it's just a classic ramp spell, but also have some energy, why not? And it doesn't cost any more. It just does it.
It's like draw a card, gain 2 energy. I think Attune with Ether is.
Something like that. I think it might be go find a basic land, have 2 energy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It doesn't matter. We're not talking about it today. It's the wrong colour. Point is that stuff like that became very commonplace. This idea of energy is just a tertiary resource, or secondary resource that you might use, you might not use, and suddenly everyone went, a lot of cards say use this energy to take extra turns. Well, that seems pretty powerful. Or to do this more powerfully. Oh, well. And suddenly energy became, it broke modern. For a long time it broke modern. Modern is still broken. No one plays modern anymore. It's a dead format. So get in the comments if you disagree. I don't care. I don't play modern. But yes, ramble aside, Satya was an attempt, and Modern Horizons 3 was an attempt to put some classic powerful archetypes into commander-based settings. It was going directly into modern. All these cards were designed for modern, but also there were precons that were designed to make some really powerful precons. This is the energy one. There was a Lurgoyf's-based one. Lurgoyfs are a creature type that care about things in your graveyard. There was an Eldrazi one, Eldrazi being a very powerful archetype. Oh my god, what was the fourth one?
The fourth one was the Omas one, the Changeling Land one.
Changelings and Lands. Yes, Changelings and Lands, which is very cool as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're all extremely powerful. All the precons were very expensive. The decks were very powerful. And then Josh took his and made it even more powerful. So Joshi, what cards do you want to start us off talking about? Are they not popular or are they super popular?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is I've had a love-hate relationship with Satya throughout the entire time that I've had it. I focused it a lot on...
That makes two of us.
I focused it on artifacts and other energy cards going in there. So, like I said, I took the energy precon from the Fallout set, this precon, meshed them together. Couldn't really get it to work the way that I wanted it to. And then there was a point when the Aether Drift energy precon came out, which is different colours. It's one different colour. There's no white in that one, whereas there is in this one. That one has green. This one doesn't. I thought about making a 5-colour energy deck that would have had Kenrith, the Returned King, as the commander. I've been trying to find a deck to have Kenrith as the commander for a long time. That deck never happened. I sort of sat in a box for ages with all the cards, never did anything with it, never took Satya apart. Then Foundations came out, and when I bought one of the big play booster boxes for it, which is the first time I've ever done that, and I got 3, 4, 5, 6 copies of Heir Apparent, and I thought, okay, well, I'll just put Heir Apparent in there, and then it started to click the more that I played Satya ETB triggers. So I started putting more ETB style triggers into the deck, and then as time's gone on, it's now become one of my favorite decks. So one thing that I will say with my list today is that I will not be talking about any cards that generate energy for the deck. So the cards that are in those colors or colorless that generate energy are good in the deck, so there's no point me talking about them, because Gonti's Aether Heart is one, which is the one that Chris mentioned. That's the one that gives you spend 8 energy to get an extra turn. Aetherflux Machinery, I think, is another one, which is one where
amplifier.
You spend 6 energy to tap it to look at the top 6 cards of your library, put one of them onto the battlefield without it spending casting it, sort of thing, or spending the mana value for it to cast it.
I mean, actually, this is quite a good point, Josh. I'm sorry to interrupt, but you're making a really good point. There's also quite an interesting point about when you're looking at building a commander deck. Just because he makes energy and you can use energy to do something doesn't mean that you want to or need to. You can. There's nothing stopping you. Like, a Guide of Souls is a broken ass card in any format that you can play a Guide of Souls in. It's great in this deck. It's also a white ETB creature that is really good with energy.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science to fit those two things together. But you don't need to. He makes energy, and he has an energy outlet.
Yeah.
You don't need to make any more energy. You don't need the outlet to be anything else. Like, I have a Saheeli, the one from Aether Drift, Saheeli Radiant something. I don't know. It's on the screen. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It makes energy. It uses it to make duplicates of tokens. That's all. The only energy cards I have in it are to make enough energy to duplicate the token. That's what I want to do, is duplicate the token, but she does that by having things enter. Because she's a setup and a payoff on one card, you don't need more energy cards in that deck unless you're doing something very specifically energy focused, which the reason why it was so good in Modern, in Standard, whatever, is because duplicates of good energy cards, if you can play 4 of them in your deck and there's 60 cards in your deck, you're going to see them a lot. And their effects stack and build up and double. In a singleton format like Commander, it's much, much harder to make that kind of thing work. It just is. Yeah. So you need to have cards that are, in this deck specifically, good enter the battlefield effects. Energy is a nicer side.
Yeah.
One
of the things that I found with Satya when it was more energy focused was that I was getting, I think the most energy I ever had in a game was 47. And just next to nothing to spend it on. Yes, Gonzi's Aether Heart is a once per game thing. It's extra turn days once per 8, takes 8 mana to do that. Yes, I could do 8 energy. Sorry, I could do the spend 6 and tap to look at the top 6 with the Aetherflux Machinery card, but that's once per turn, so that's only 6 energy. If I'm then generating more of it by copying cards and all of that, there's no point. The energy wasn't doing it. I know there is a card, and I can't remember what the name of it is off the top of my head, where anytime you get an energy, you deal that much damage to a target opponent.
Aether Revolt.
That's the one. But again, that's a good way to do it. If you're going to go down the energy route, then that's a very good card to have in there. But the way that I've built the deck, which you'll see in the deck description down below, focuses a lot more on the ETB triggers of the cards, which is where I'm going to lead into with my very first card.
While Josh is finding the card, just to make sure that people understand, because we're using a lot of jargon, ETB is an enters the battlefield effect. Whenever a creature says, when this creature enters the battlefield, do X, do Y, whatever. When Satya attacks, you make a taps an attacking token. Very importantly, if it's whenever this creature attacks, that doesn't trigger because the creature comes in attacking, so it doesn't ever attack. It just comes in attacking. So be very careful of that. I've had that problem in other decks. When you're making a token copy of something, if you've got a creature on the board with a good ETB, when you attack with Satya, you can recreate that ETB. You can have the creature stick around if you've got the energy and you want to keep it, but that's almost an irrelevance. The point is you get the ETB again. And if the enters the battlefield trigger is particularly good, if it is really effective or it does something, you can do it every turn because Satya attacks, presumably, every turn. That's the point.
And the other thing with Satya's effect as well, during the end phase, you could spend the energy equal to the card's mana value. If you don't, you sacrifice it. So you could also add a few sacrifice effects in there as well.
Leave the battlefield's effects,
whether it be the card that you're creating a copy of, or you've got other cards on the board that do other things when that happens. But the first card I'm going to come up to, I'm looking through my list, I only actually have one card with an ETB effect, which is a problem because it's a legendary creature. So when Satya...
Why have you done this?
I'll tell you, you'll find out in a moment. But when you make a copy of it using Satya's ability, legendary rule applies, you can only have one of them on the board, so you instantly just sacrifice the token, but you get the ETB trigger. This is probably one of my favorite ones in the deck because it's got 2 different roles within the deck. It's not just I'm just going to continuously get my ETB trigger off. It has an additional effect as well. This is from Final Fantasy. It is Ultimisa Temporal Threat. Ultimisa is a 2 blue and 4/4/4 human warlock. Her effect is, when Ultimisa enters, tap all creatures your opponents control. Fantastic. Next ability, whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So, you play her down, you play her down, all of your opponent's creatures become tapped. Fantastic. That means you get a free swing. You swing with Satya and you make a token copy of another creature on the board. You could do Ultimisa if you wanted to. If Ultimisa is the only creature on the board, then do Ultimisa. But you could do it with another creature. Then on your next turn, copy Ultimisa. Tap all of their things again. Attack.
It's so brutal.
And when you deal combat damage with it, you're drawing cards, because it's not when one or more creatures, it's whenever a creature draws. So when you bring her down, the turn you bring her down, you attack with Satya, you have another creature on the board that you can copy. Satya hits something, as does the token copy, and the other creature if you wanted to. That's a minimum of 2 cards every turn. 3 if you attack with the other creature. So the creature you copy. So it's just amazing value in this deck. And when I saw it, because this one comes in the Final Fantasy starter kit, it comes in the Sephiroth deck. And when I looked at it, I was like, what can I do with this?
The world's most brutal ETB.
I don't know what to do with this because it didn't trigger in my brain about the ETB effect. So I'd love to put it in an ETB deck. And it wasn't until, Chris will grind at this, I was playing Magic Arena. I was playing Arena online, and I decided to make a brawl deck with Satya as the commander, and I'd opened a couple of free packs that I'd been given, and I pulled Ultimisa, and I was like, oh, I'll put Ultimisa in there. And then when I started using Ultimisa, I was like, oh my god, this is broken. I have this card. It has to go in the deck.
It's
so good.
The only saving grace of this card being in that deck is that it costs how much mana?
6. So it is
Yeah,
definitely
fine.
game
By
ender.
turn 6. Yeah, exactly. If you're doing it by turn, most Commander games hit. Well, most Commander games will hit about turn 10 if it's 4 players, or 8, 9, depending on the brackets that you're in. But
yeah,
you're not going to play it that often if it's 6 mana. Twice, maybe.
Yeah, that is my first card.
Cool. I will go with my first. It's specifically about ETBs, which is Aerial Extortionist. Just 3 white. It's a bird soldier. It's flying. Whenever this creature enters or deals combat damage to a player, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent. For as long as that card remains exiled, its owner may cast it. Whenever another player casts a spell from anywhere other than their hand, draw a card.
Yeah.
So, if you're lucky, and if it goes well, it's a 4/3, by the way. When it enters, so if you have it on the board, because you have to have it to make a copy of it, you play it, and you are exiling someone's creature. They can recast it, that's fine. The important thing to note is someone is recasting a thing that you exiled, it still has summoning sickness. So if they don't have the mana to recast it now, on their turn they can recast it and it can't attack you, because it's got summoning sickness. So it's a really good slowing down effect. A lot of cards that exile cards, either by removing them literally just from the game, or what are called Oblivion Ring effects, where they exile them until the creature or the artifact or whatever leaves the battlefield, where they sort of lock them underneath them effectively. Those kind of effects, they are shutdowns. They're really, really good. This is more of a slowdown. This takes the thing and goes, you can recast it, it's perfectly fine. And like they might, if it's their commander, they might avoid some command attacks. Not a bad thing either. But it just slows their process down. However, if you play this on turn, let's say you turn 5, because Satya's 4 mana. Satya comes down, menace, haste, does his thing. Next turn, you play this. It's cast. Already a bad start. It enters, you remove someone's creature. They can recast it, that's fine, but it's gone for the time being. Then you attack with Satya. You make a tapped and attacking copy. Something else goes. If it then deals combat damage to the player, it's a flying 4/3. It very well might. They lose something else again.
Yep.
And every time they recast those things from exile, you draw cards. It says whenever another player casts a spell from anywhere other than their hand. People cast spells from exile all the time in this game. People cast their commanders from the command zone. People cast cards from their graveyards. This is just a casual, sits on your board, draws you a ton of cards. You're guaranteeing that you'll draw 1 because they recast the thing that you exiled. If you're lucky, you're guaranteeing that they to do 3. Because Satya's effect, because Satya himself has haste, has menace and haste, and whenever he attacks, the thing happens. The creature that comes down effectively comes down twice. Because it enters, because you cast it, and then you create a tapped and attacking token. So effectively you give it pseudo haste, and it enters again. So creatures that enter or deal damage. Enter or attack doesn't work because of the tapped and attacking trigger. But the rare, whenever this creature enters or deals combat damage, that's a really good one, because then you will just multiply that effect over and over and over again. Also, this card is I've never seen it played in a game where it's not just been this absolute backbreaker, because it just comes down and says no, which is already a really good start. But you're not saying it's gone forever. Therefore, it must be hit with removal, that sort of thing. You're just saying you can recast it. And people go, well, do I spend the mana to recast my thing, or do I spend the mana to remove that? And then in a deck where you can recreate the ETB, I have to remove that before I can recast my commander. Their game just goes from I'm rolling to it just stops. It's done.
It's a card that I own, and it's currently in another deck that I'm in the process of dismantling. So it is on the list of cards that could potentially go into Satya in the future. But I have so many cards in there that I absolutely love.
I think the only thing that holds me back from saying you definitely should is that it's 5 mana. 5 mana in a game where you tend not to get much past turn 10 is a big ask.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, definitely. What is your next one?
My next one, now this one focuses more on the later part of Satya's effect, where it says sacrifice a creature unless you pay the mana to the energy, to keep it around equal to its mana value. If you stack your end trigger effects in a particular way, you could sacrifice that token to something else to get a different effect off of it. The token copies that come in when Satya does it, they come in as complete copies of the creature that they come in, which means they also copy their mana value as well. So this one I have is Industrial Advancement, which is an enchantment. For a red and 3, at the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice a creature. If you do, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is that creature's mana value. You may put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Good way to filter through your deck. I've used this card a couple of times in a different deck that I have. I have it in Satya as well, but there's another deck that I have called Sabin, Master Monk from Final Fantasy VI. And Sabin's has a blitz ability where he comes in onto the battlefield for a turn, then dies. So sacrifice him to this. I can go look at the top 5 cards of my library and then just place any creature down. So at some point I'm going to get Clive out and Clive's going to come sort of onto the battlefield sort of thing. But then the rest go to the bottom. So there is going to be instances where you're going to go, oh no, I've got 2 of my win cons here. Now they're at the bottom. But that's what you do with it. It can allow you to cheat out some very big creature spells as well. So I could get Ultimisa out for... free.
True. The ability to cheat out in a deck like this, especially cheat out with using the attack and combat damage trigger, is obviously insane. Like, Josh, you know I have a copy of this card. I think you know which of my decks I have it in.
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay. I have an Itali Primal Conqueror deck.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Is it my best deck? One of my best decks. Because it ramps into treasures to get Italy out really quickly, and putting a 7 mana creature that nets you creatures off everyone else's board when it enters, and then sacrificing it to go and get even more big creatures from your library to then go and cast it again next turn to get the trigger when it comes in again, is so good. It's such a good card. There's in another deck as well. Just whenever something's going to die anyway, just sack it for value. Why not? Fucking hell.
Yeah, it's such a good card that I like.
Yeah.
Just like having it. It's good to have in there. It's really fun to play and to use basically. So that's my next pick.
That's good. I'm also going to go with a creature that sacrifice triggers, because the ability to come in and leave is obviously great.
Where my brain was going, but it completely left my brain, is it's really good in the fact that this is an ETB deck, so whatever creature you're bringing in is likely to be an ETB card.
Oh god, yeah, of course. And then you pass the combat step, you can't do it again.
No.
You pass the combat step.
You're in the end step, but you still get that ETB trigger, so whatever it is, you'll get it off, especially with creatures that I have in this deck.
We've not... Actually, no, it's summoning set. You couldn't use multiple combat fix to get it out. I mean, you could do some nasty things with it if it had haste and multiple combat steps. But
but it's an end step card anyway, so it only goes off on the end step.
Ooh. Well, this one is sneaky as fuck. Benevolent Bodyguard is a very old card. I think Judgment, like, is old. It's a human cleric for a single white mana. Sacrifice this creature. Target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. I'm going to come back to this thought process because it is important, but Satya has to attack for this to work, which, for my money, is a big old downside, because it means you have to attack into a board. Now, Satya's a 3/5, he's got a massive old badonk, and he's got Menace, so he can probably get through a lot of boards. But Commander has a tendency to clog up the board really, really quickly. So chances are you will reach a point with Satya where you have to attack to get that double ETB trigger, to get that to get that combat damage trigger, whatever, and there's no way for you to get through, or you might lose Satya in the process. Josh and I have played many a game where Josh has attacked with Satya knowing he's going to lose Satya because he's got enough mana to recast Satya because he's got haste so you can attack the next turn. Like, Satya does do that very well. But knowing that you're going to lose him, for my money, having something that just sits there on the board, because 1 white mana, you drop it early. It's on the board. It's a 1/1. If you desperately need a defender, it's there. Also, it has a sacrifice itself trigger that you can trigger whenever you want, no tap ability, no nothing, which means that if you need to, you can sacrifice this to give something protection. Giving something protection, which is an old school Magic term, doesn't really get used that much anymore because it's very complicated. It means it can't be damaged by something, enchanted by something, blocked by something, or targeted by something.
Yeah.
Basically, but it protects you from everything, bar a board wipe, obviously, but any kind of targeted removal, any kind of, if you need to throw a blocker in front of something, if it's got protection, that 1/1 cleric, well, not that one, it'll sacrifice itself, but say the one you create that's tapped and attacking, can block a 50/50 and nothing will happen because it can't be damaged and the damage won't roll over without trample. So protection is a really powerful effect, a really useful thing to have, and you will get it repeatedly.
Yes.
Because Satya's on the board. You've got this thing on. You attack with Satya, you create a tapped and attacking benevolent bodyguard. If Satya is going to have any problems, if Satya is going to take too much damage, if Satya is going to walk into a humongous creature, give him protection. Protection from the color of your choice. Most decks are 2 to 3 colors. You'll be able to work out what the best way to do this is. Because Satya is an attack trigger. It doesn't matter if he hits, doesn't matter if he does combat damage, it's irrelevant. All he has to do is attack. So you will attack with him, you'll copy the benevolent bodyguard, you give Satya protection, Satya survives.
Yeah.
Which means you can just keep going. Or you attack with Satya, who's got another way to protect himself, and you've created a tapped and attacking benevolent bodyguard, and you defend something else you're attacking with. You have the ability to basically give protection, a very powerful effect, from a color, quite easy to do in Commander, to any of your creatures whenever you attack.
Yeah. Which is really, really good, yeah.
It's just so good, and I had this for ages in a Clerics deck that I don't run anymore. I don't know where my copy is anymore, you know, I think I probably sold it. It's a shame, because obviously it's more useful as well. I haven't got a Satya deck. I don't need this.
No, but you got ETB decks.
Do I? They're mostly artifact ETB decks because I'm a craven fool. We'll talk about them someday. I have a problem with making decks that make token copies of dumb shit.
Yeah, we'll get around to it. I just thought of a commander that would be perfect for you, but you have the card. You have the card already. But that's going completely off topic. We will talk about that later. Anyway,
no, I want to know.
You'll have to wait. My next card is both something that works with ETBs while also providing you the option of board wiping as well.
Oh.
It's a sorcery.
Shroud.
It's an expensive sorcery. It's called Terminal Velocity. It is a 2 red and 4. You may put an artifact or creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. That permanent gains haste. When this permanent leaves the battlefield, and it also gains, when this permanent leaves the battlefield, it deals damage equal to its mana value to each creature, and at the beginning of your end step, sacrifice this permanent.
It's a sneak attack.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, sneak attack's a very old Magic card that does the same thing without the deals damage to everything effect. That's brutal. Jesus Christ.
I pulled one of these in in Edge of Eternities. I got this. I pulled one of these in one of the Edge of Eternities collector booster sample things that you get as part of one of the you get in the pre-con packs. And I was like, oh, this is a really good card.
It's crazy good.
And I read it and I was like, this is really good. And then I looked at the price of it on like Card Market, Magic Madhouse, UK seller merchant they are, and it's like 40p or less depending on where you look. And it's
how much is the mana value? How much does it cost to cast?
It's a 6 cost, so it's 2 red and 4. Yeah. So it's expensive, right. But when you look at most board wipes, like Austerity Command, for example, which is probably the most popular white board wipe out there.
That's Farewell.
One of that isn't Farewell. There is around the same sort of mana value. So
I think the problem is 6 mana. I'm not saying that you shouldn't cast 6 mana spells. We're playing the format where you're supposed to play the 6-7 mana cost spells. That's the point. Commander's meant to be the one where you play all the high cost spells. But modern Commander's so fast that by the time you're playing 6-7 cost spells, they've got to come down and do something like immediately that makes you either win the game or threaten to win the game. Like I was thinking about this the other day. We're looking at like Doubling Season and Anointed Procession, and some of these cards have been around for yonks. So like these cards are so good. They're 5 mana.
Yeah.
doublers that unless you do something else, they don't do anything. They just sit on your board. And I find myself looking at them and going, I've never owned one of these because they cost like 20 quid, but also I don't think I would. Like a 5 mana, pop this down, then something good happens. It went next turn when you do something else because it used all your mana to do this, gets a sort of a shrug from me at the moment because of the speed of the format. A 6 mana board wipe that also uses the duplication and copy effects of your commander, that's different. But yeah, I think you have to really pick and choose your high mana value cards these days.
Yeah, that's
Definitely
true. That's fair. So one thing that, please, if anybody, what I'm about to say, if this is wrong, please do put this down below. But this is my interpretation of the spell. The part of Terminal Velocity that says when this permanent leaves the battlefield, it deals damage equal to its mana value to each creature, and at the beginning of your end step, sacrifice this permanent, is in the quotation marks. So my understanding of it is that gets put onto the creature as an additional part of its effect. So you play a creature down and say that creature is a 4/4 that has a bigger bum than its mana value, bigger toughness than its mana value. So it's not going to, it technically wouldn't die to its own effect. That's important because it has haste. So when you attack with Satya, you then make a token copy of that creature, which you're also attacking with because you don't care if that creature dies or not. And then you've got 2 of those creatures on the board. When either of those 2 creatures leave, this is my understanding of it, that will do its mana value damage, for example, to all creatures on the battlefield. If the other creature then survives the token copy, during the end phase that then dies, that then deals another 4 damage to everything, which because it's before everything regenerates its health back. So you're effectively doing potentially 8 damage to everything.
Take the numbers out because the numbers are going to be what's confusing.
Yeah.
If a card says when it does this, this happens about something that it creates, a token, a copy of a creature it plays from your hand for you or something like that. If it just says that it does something, then that version does something. If you copy it, the copy isn't a copy of that version of the card. It's a copy of the card. So the card will not have any of the extra versions of things on it that say sacrifice it. It's why copy effects are so good in sneak attack decks. Because you sneak attack something out, it will die on end step. If you make a copy of it, especially if it's a legendary creature, you make a copy of that, then the copy doesn't see it dies on end step. There's no concept of it dies on end step.
Oh, so it doesn't add that to it then?
It says it in quotation marks. That's the important thing.
Okay.
If it just says that creature dies on end step, then that creature dies on end step. That's all it says. If you make a token copy of it, that creature doesn't die on end step because the token copy is a separate entity. If it puts it in quote marks, it is adding the text in quote marks to the creature that entered. So that creature now says on it, when it dies on end step, and when it dies, it does its damage equal to its mana value to everything. Yeah. In other words, it's adding lines of text to the card that came in. So if you copy it, that copy will also have those lines of text because they're in quotes. The in quotes means it's been added to the card. Very important in when you're making copies of copies of copies, which is a thing that you will end up doing in a lot of decks. I certainly do it a lot. I enjoy doing it. It's very important to know which copies live and which copies die. And this is one where it's the relevancy of when it maintains that text, when it doesn't, is really important. So no, you are correct, because it keeps the copy, because the copy you're making has the text on it, it will also die. So if the creature has, for whatever reason, a high mana value and a higher toughness, which is entirely possible, the first one will wrath the board for its mana value, and then the second one will also wrath the board for its mana value because it won't die the first time round. Because it doesn't get sacrificed. Because hang on, is its death trigger when it gets sacrificed, or is it when it's on its death trigger? I haven't got the card in front of me.
It says when this permanent leaves the battlefield, so even if it dies during combat, it goes off. But then if it still survives until the end of turn, then it gets sacrificed on the end step.
Then it doesn't matter, because the first one goes off, and you play the first one, it gets all that text, and then you copy it with Satya, so there's 2 on the board, right? The first one dies. For whatever reason, the first one dies. When it does, it will kill the second one, which will then also die, and its effect goes off as well. So you will always, if you use Satya... So when you use Satya, you will always hit the board for twice the mana value. Always.
So it's a very good card.
That's pretty You're gonna kill everything. You're gonna kill everything. You're gonna kill Satya.
Oh yeah. But then, as we said before, normally there's a plan in place to be able to. I would only ever do that if I know I can get Satya out again. So,
well, not only because you're doing damage equal to its power, so the protection thing I was talking about, the benevolent thing works. Although you'd have to have the copy of it. This card, my next card, also fixes this problem for you. It's an enchantment called Redemption Arc. It's from Murders at Karlov Manor, so no one knows anything about it or has never played it because no one played Murders at Karlov Manor. It's an aura. It's 2 and a white called Redemption Arc. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature has indestructible and is goaded. It attacks each combat fable.
Yeah.
You want to attack with Satya every combat anyway. Yeah. You want to make token copies anyway. What does it matter if he's goaded? And he's then indestructible, which means it doesn't matter if he bounces off things and would die to combat damage because he doesn't. He's indestructible. Any destroyed board wipes won't hit him. It also has 1 and a white exile enchanted creature. That's so you can put it on an enemy creature to make it goaded to attack forever, and then when it's just 2 players, you can exile it to get rid of it. Which also means it has an offensive capability, which you might want in the deck if you need it. It's quite a fun one, because goad tends to be in red, and goading someone else's creature to attack every turn, if it's survived, and it's indestructible, so it won't die from the combat, and then you can exile it when it's going to attack you. I think it's quite good.
That's a very good card. Going off of that same protecting, going off of like protecting Satya, giving him indestructible, things like that. My next card is a card that I said to Chris I wanted to get for the deck, and Chris went, "Why?" And then I used the card against Chris, and Chris was like, "I see." It came out in Edge of Eternities. It's it so thematically fits what Satya is as well, like a genius who fiddles with technology. This is Atomic Microsizer. It is a 1 blue equipment that equips for 2. Equipped creature gets +1/+0. Whenever equipped creature attacks, choose up to 1 target creature, which includes itself. That creature can't be blocked this turn and has base power and toughness 1/1 until end of turn. You basically Ant-Man with it. And I saw this card, I was like, that's so much fun. And then me and Chris played a game together. I mean, when you give it, if you equip it to Satya and attack with Satya, you make him unblockable, he becomes a 1/1. The equipment then bumps him up to a 2/1. He's unblockable, so nothing can block him. That's only 1 damage less than what he does normally. So...
It's such a... Okay. It's so counterintuitive. But also, you don't have to give the effect of the thing it's equipped to, right? You can give it to anything.
To just 1 target creature, yeah. So you can give it to anything.
So you can use it to protect him. You can use it to, if the other thing you're attacking with has a combat damage trigger that you want to make sure that you hit, you can use it for that too. It's got versatility. It's very silly.
Yes. It's such a fun card. I read it and I was like, I like this card. I'm going to get it. I've got 2 copies. One I was thinking about putting into Captain America. I probably still will. And then this one as well to go into Satya. And then when I actually played it, I just started giggling to myself. Chris was like, "What are you giggling at?" I was like, "I'm going to play this. I'm going to do this." It didn't help. I had cards on the board that gave Satya +1/+1 counters, so I ended up winning with commander damage, which is a way I've never won with this deck before.
Occasionally you hit me with enough commander. Normally by the time we're hitting like 17, 18 commander damage, either I'm going to win on the next turn or you're going to do enough damage that it would have killed me outright anyway. So I don't think it's a commander damage deck. The thing is, I haven't got anything here to recommend it as a commander damage deck, but you totally could just load him up with 1/1 counters, and because he's got menace and haste, you can just recast him, make him big. It could be an equipment deck. Oh my god, you can make a Satya equipment deck.
Don't do that. Could do that, yeah. I mean, it was Guide of Souls that I had on the board with him that was giving him the +1/+1 counters, because I was just generating a ridiculous amount of energy per 10. First time I'd actually used Guide of Souls in that deck, because it was a recent purchase for him. But that Atomic Microsizer is just... I think that's what's caused me to look at the deck and go, I love this deck so much now, because of its effect, and also just how thematically it fits the card as well. So I just love this. I could see Satya being an Edge of Eternities.
It's silly, but it's the right kind of silly, because it's doing something that means your commander will go through. The fact he's 1/1 is irrelevant, because it just means that he gets in and his attack trigger, and that's all you really need is the attack trigger. So yeah, it's very cool. Speaking of, I'm wondering if I leap to one of my total weirdos, because I've got a couple of total weirdos, and it's one of my favorite total weirdo cards, because it's often referred to as one of the most confusing Magic cards ever. I'm going to do this one. Right.
Go for it.
Bear with. The card is Balduvian Warlord. Balduvian Warlord, 3 and a red. Creature, human, barbarian. It's a 3/2. Tap it. Remove target blocking creature from combat. Creatures it was blocking that hadn't become blocked by another creature this combat become unblocked. Then it blocks an attacking creature of your choice. Activate only during the declare blocker's step.
Right, so it allows you to basically stop something.
Quite famously, people read this card and go, what is this?
Yeah, so it's basically a stop blocking thing.
Right. You tap it, you go to combat, and you declare Satya as an attacker. So your attack step with Satya is already happening. That is a given.
Yeah.
Satya's attacking, so you create a tapped and attacking copy of something. All the ETBs go off. Mayada. Don't copy this. There's no need. At which point, the other person declares blockers. Is the smart thing to do to remove the token copy that Satya's made because combat damage is important? Is the smart thing to do to remove Satya, to try and block Satya himself, to try not to get hit by commander damage? You as the defending player will have various options. With this on the board, the defending player is going, I mean, I have to block one of them. Satya's got menace, so I need to put 2 creatures in front to block Satya to make that work. And you've got a Balduvian Warlord, so whatever I put as a blocker, you can then change a blocker. You can move a blocker around. The wording is very specific. You remove target blocking creature from combat, a blocker. So in Satya's case, one of the 2 things blocking it, it has menace. If you remove one blocker from that, that creature then blocks an attacking creature of your choice, has to block a different attacking creature. So you have to have at least 2 creatures attacking. It's very important why this card is so hard to use. This is a deck where you will always have 2 creatures attacking, because Satya will attack and create an attacking copy.
Yeah.
Like, I have this in a deck where you always make it a token copy that attacks. Same thing, because that's the point of this stupid-ass card. You're going to find a deck where you're going to have at least 2 attackers, because it's got to move. It's got to move to another attacker and block it. You can't move it out of combat. It has to go in. So it's a weird card. It throws blocking math completely if you're attacking a lot, which you are in this deck, and it means you can A, keep Satya alive if you need to, or B, let a blocker that you have get through that you might not be able to get through otherwise. So yes, it's a weirdo. It's from Cold Snap of all things. It's also incredibly dense and hard to read. But yes, I really like this card. It'll also guarantee you will play this. Someone else will pick it up, look at it, look at you, look at it, and go, what? Because it says the word block too many times.
Yeah, you're like, what?
If the blocking block, blah, 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 what? Anyway, sorry, that was my weirdo.
Anyway, I've done one card that has ETB triggers. I've done one card that has a sacrifice effect. We've done a little bit of protection on Satya as well. The next good thing that is, for me personally, and also include into my deck, is ways to copy things. Copying was something that I hadn't really touched upon really in decks, and then I made I put this next card that I'm going to talk about into Satya, and I was like, oh, this is really good. Then I made a Kamari deck. The Kamari, the Valiant Guardian deck, and I put lots of copy stuff in there thinking, oh, it'll be fun, it'll be all right. And then I was copying everything left, right and centre, and I was like, oh, I need to do more of that in Satya. So this is more of a encompassing sort of area. So mainly cards that say, this is mainly copy cards that say it becomes a copy of target creature but still keeps its name, so it doesn't become a copy of Satya and then die. This one is Go-Go Mysterious Mime from Final Fantasy VI Precon.
Yeah.
He is a red and 3 2/2 wizard. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may have Go-Go become a copy of another target creature you control until end of turn, except its name is Go-Go Mysterious Mime. If you do, Go-Go and that creature each get +2/+0 and gain haste until end of turn, and attack this turn if able. So you're getting Satya's to trigger off twice, you're bumping Satya's attack up to 5/5, and Go-Go would also be a 5/5. It's just a really good card. Another one that I have in the deck that does the same sort of thing is Sakashima the Imposter. Again, make a copy of Satya. That one has a little bit of survivability to it because you can bounce it back to your hand if you need to. But yeah, just being able to copy is really good. Another thing that's really good in the deck is being able to copy triggered abilities, because attack triggers are triggered abilities. So having the other Go-Go, I think it's Mastery Mime,
Master of Mimicry.
Master of Mimicry, who's also in my Satya deck, is really good in there as well, because you just copy the effect even more.
I love copy cards and I love copy effects. They're so cool. Josh is right. The difficulty with copy cards, a lot of them say copy target creature or make a token that's a copy of target creature or whatever. If they don't have specific wording, making a token copy of a legendary creature, it dies immediately. It just because you can't have two copies of the same legendary creature on the board. It's not allowed. The only way you can do something clever with that is if they have a way of avoiding what's called the legendary rule. We've done a whole episode on Ratadrabic who avoids the legendary rule. Conversely, I have a Roalesque deck, which is also bananas, because every time Roalesque enters, you proliferate. No, you put counters when he enters. When he dies, you proliferate twice, so you double the counters on things twice. I have a whole deck of where the whole point is to make token copies that die immediately, because then it comes in, puts 2/1/1 counters on normally the first Roalesque, then it dies and proliferates the counters on it, so you get 4/1/1 counters for a copy spell. It hits with commander damage so hard, so quickly, it's bananas. But yes, using Satya in particular, because he makes copies of things. The copies he makes, if they're legendary creatures, will just die. So tap and attacking is irrelevant. You get the ETB, you get the leave the battlefield if it has one, but nothing clever happens. You need to have other copy effects that are clever if you want to copy legendary things. Like, in this deck in particular, I would argue you want to have as few legendary creatures as possible, unless they are specifically there to copy Satya, or, the really nasty bit, to copy each other.
Yes. Well, this is the thing is Go-Go and Sakashima are both. Yes, their main target is Satya, but they could also copy other things on the board. Well, copying each other doesn't really make sense because
then you copy the copy.
Yeah, but
you're making a token copy of Satya that's that's already a copy of the existing Satya. So now you have three things that, when they attack, create a tapped and attacking copy of target creature. There's no reason that couldn't be another Satya. Doesn't have a good ETB, but you can start making some crazy, like, my board of 15 copies of my commander all attack you now.
There was one card. I mean, obviously, Hell on the Host is a card that is very good and was in the deck originally, but I took it out for Sakashima because it's 9 mana to get it going.
Another card that's a bit old these days. Hell on the Host. It's a really great way to copy your commander for 9 mana.
Sean, the Father of Synths, is one that keeps coming in and out of the deck because he's very good at creating copies of Satya when he attacks. The only downside to him is as soon as you remove Sean, anything that's a synth just goes off the board. One of the funniest things that I did was I had a copy of a non-legendary copy of Satya on the board through Sean's effect, and it got round to my next turn, so that token was able to attack, and then I did Rite of Replication and kicked it and made 5 more copies of that Satya token.
Oh my god! Because the token, of course, isn't. And because a lot of times when they make a token copy of something that's legendary, they'll make a non-legendary token copy. Which, if you then copy that token, it's not legendary, so you can have a million of them. It doesn't matter.
And that's what Sean does. Yeah.
Yeah. So stuff like that.
Yeah. He's constantly in and out of the deck.
Well, it's kind of an all or nothing. It's like I had a Golems deck, and I had a card called a Precursor Golem, where any instant that targets the Precursor Golem affects all Golems, which is amazing if you have a pump effect, but also if someone casts removal on the Precursor Golem, it removes all your Golems, so it's a bit of a double-edged sword.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yes, that was the main reason, is I made a load of, I'll make a load of them over the course of the game, and then somebody just goes, "Ha! I destroy Sean." And it's like, goodbye.
Yes. Yeah. There's better ways to make loads of copies.
Yeah.
I think. No slight on the Fallout set. There are some good cards in it, but that card is not one of them in my book.
Definitely not as a commander.
Right.
No.
Let's go Actually, no. I've got a copy thing here as well. Although, actually, no. I'm going to go a slightly different direction here. I've got a couple more things I want to engage with, sort of as a concept, and I think I'm going to start by talking about creatures with Defender. Defender is a keyword that says this creature cannot attack. However, if it enters tapped and attacking, it's already attacking. That is circumnavigated.
Yes.
So you can attack with things that have Defender, which you often don't want to. Things that Defender often have a 0 attack power. So why would you want to attack with a thing with Defender? Let me tell you. Weathered Sentinels. 3 mana, artifact, creature, wall. Defender, Vigilance, Reach, Trample. It's 2/5. This creature can attack players who attacked you during their last turn as though it didn't have Defender. That's nice. Probably not relevant. Whenever this creature attacks, it gets +3/+3 and gets indestructible until end of turn. A tapped and attacking copy of this is a 5/8 trample. So you make a tapped and attacking copy of this. It's a 5/8 with trample. Already a pretty good start. Go on.
That's the thing, though, is that's where your attacks and attacking triggers, because it says when this creature attacks. So the tapped and attacking.
Oh shit! You're right. That is a shame. It's still a 2/5 with trample, right? So it's a great start.
Yeah, and it's a defender, so it's still really good. And people are going to be attacking every turn anyway, so it's still a good. And it's because it's a defender that's a 2/5, making a copy of it and then paying the 3 mana, the 3 energy, at the end of turn to keep it is still good. And it has reach, so it gives you flying defense.
Actually, that's a really good point. We can save this slight error. It's a 2/5.
Yeah.
You have to cast it. It's 3 mana. It's 3 colorless mana. It couldn't be easier to cast. It's on the board. You put Satya in next turn because Satya is 4 mana. You attack with Satya. You make a tapped and attacking copy of it, so it's a 2/5 with trample that is now attacking your opponent. Great stuff. If they now attack you, you can attack with the original, and if the 2/5 survive, which it probably did, you can attack with that one too.
Yeah. Right, so I only have 1 card left.
Yep.
To talk about, although this card falls, again, similar to Go-Go, falls into a bracket of cards, and you'll notice that the theme that I've had for this particular deck list run is Final Fantasy cards. There's only a few Age of Eternities ones as well, but this...
What's out right now? Why not?
Yeah, it's out. I have played with this a couple of times, and I absolutely love it. The summon cards that you can get in the Final Fantasy set. So I'll just quickly run over the ones that you can get in this color combo.
Guys, before Josh gets too far in, as the person who plays against Josh quite a lot, I know what card he's going to talk about. This is awful. When Josh plays this card, when we play with each other, it tends to be 1-on-1, and we tend not to just go, Scoop, no, I'm not doing this. This is the closest I get with cards in this deck to going, I don't want to play this game anymore.
That's fair. That's completely fair. My Satya deck has gotten to that point now where it's like, only high level play, when it's us two anyway. So what I'll do is I'll go over the summon cards that you can get into this color combination, and then I'll set on the one that I have that I'm going to talk about.
The worst. The most brutal.
Yeah. So the first one is Summon Valval, which is a blue and 4 for a 5/4 Saga Drake with flying, and it has 4 sagas. I won't go over each of their effects because that's me taking like 10 cards, adding 10 cards to the list. But they will appear on the screen now so you can see them. So Summon Valval is one. That is in my Satya deck. The next one, sorry, let me just get rid of all of these. The next one is Summon Shiva. Summon Shiva was in my deck. She's a 2 blue and 3 for a 4/5. However, I decided to, because her first ability is to do with stun counters, I decided to move her into a proliferate deck because that's evil. Next, we've got Summon Primal Garuda. It is a white and 3 flying Saga Harpy for that is a 3/3. Next, we've got Summon Ixion. That is a 3/3 Saga Unicorn with First Strike. Then we've got Summon Knights of the Round, which I have in the deck. Which
I mean,
is...
come on, you're never going to play it. It's an 8-9 cost.
It's an
10
8 cost card.
Yeah,
8 cost
fuck,
card.
it's never happening.
It's a Saga Knight Indestructible 3/3, and it has its first like 4 sagas are to create 3 White Knight 2/2 creature tokens. It's really good. That's like one that's like right at the upper end of my deck, but it's not the card I'm going to talk about. The next one is Summon Kujata.
The Ox, yeah.
The Ox is a Saga Ox with Trample and Haste. It's a 7/5, so imagine copying that. And it has basically a lightning bolt effect it's when it comes in. Again, really good. Actually, I might want to get one of them. It is a 6 mana cost card, but yeah.
Well, I mean, the important thing is that when you when you play a Saga, it has an ETB.
No, it doesn't. I had to look that up. The lore counters are not ETB triggers. Because the creature comes in and then the lore counter gets put on it.
Well, it doesn't matter. So, point remains. Yeah. When you make a tapped and attacking copy of it, it comes in, and then the lore counter goes on it. Yeah. So you guaranteed when it enters, it has an effect. Because sagas, when they enter, have an effect, and usually they're enchantments that stick around on the battlefield for a bit, but they have an effect like you are casting an instant or a sorcery. So the fact that these things come down, they have a guaranteed enters the battlefield effect because they exist and they will then have some kind of spell effect on first entry, as the one that Josh is about to talk about will clarify.
Yeah, so we've got a few more to go through. We've got Summon Leviathan, which is a 2 blue and 4 Saga Leviathan 6/6 with Ward 2. That has a return a creature to target.
Yeah.
Return each creature that isn't a Kraken, Leviathan, Merfolk, Octopus, or Serpent to its owner's hand.
Why would you copy that? It's just a repeated board wipe over and over again.
Basically, yeah. One that I would really love to have, because I love Moogles, is Summon Good King Mog the 12th. I'd love to have that in there, just because its first ability is to create 2 Moogles with lifelink. So that would just be really fun. Yeah. The next one is Summon GF Cerberus. Has a surveil effect, probably not that useful. Oh, Summon Mog was I believe a white and 4, and this is a 2 red and 2 for a Saga Dog 3/3. Doesn't have any keywords or anything. The next one is Summon GF Ifrit, a red and 2 for a Saga Demon 3/2. Has discard and draw effects, and then a mana ability for its last one. Then we've got, I can never say this, even though I love Final Fantasy VI, I can never say this card's name. Summon Esper Valagamanda.
God, I don't know.
It's the one it's the bird, it's the chicken in the ice. That's to do more with instants and sorceries, but it's a flying haste 3/3. The next one is Summon Esper Ramu. 2 red and 2 for a 3/3 Saga Wizard. This creature deals damage equal to the number of non-creature, non-land cards in your graveyard to target creature and opponent controls. Again, pretty good to get rid of defenders and stuff on the board, potentially. The next one, Summon Bahamut.
Oh, good luck finding a copy, Jesus.
So it's colourless. 9 mana for a 9/9 flying Saga Dragon that says destroy up to 1 target non-land permanent. I have a copy. It very nearly went into Satya. Because it's 9 mana, I decided not to. I put it into my dragon deck instead, which is Miriam, because I thought I'd make that even more overpowered. Then we've got Summon Brynhilda. I think I said that right, which is red and 1 for a Saga Knight 2/1. Exile the top card of your library during any turn. You put a lore counter on this Saga, you may play that card.
That's probably it's worth pointing out that a lot of these, because the first chapter is to do with the creature sticks around, they won't work as well, because you're making a tapped and attacking copy that will only get its first counter and will die before it gets any more counters.
Unless
you will still have the original. Well, yeah, but unless you choose to keep it with, but they're all so expensive, you'd have a lot of energy built up to keep them.
Well, that last one I just said was only 2 mana.
Fine, not me. You do it on the first turn.
You definitely want to do it with Knights of the Round. You're not going to spend 8, unless you've built up a load of energy over the game, you're not going to spend 8 energy to keep it around.
You imagine if you played a Knights of the Round and then had enough energy built up to copy it and keep it, so on the next turn you're making...
6.
So you'd make 3, 6... 12 knights.
Yep.
And then you'd make another tapped attacking copy, because why the hell wouldn't you, to make another 3? Which means in 2 turns you've made 15 knights.
Yeah, exactly. That's my plan. That's what I want to try and do with the card. And the last one before,
and then you make your Sekishima a copy of it, and you make another 3.
the last one before I get to my actual card is summon Choco Mog /
Yes.
Stampede. Other creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. That's all 4 of its things. It costs a white and a 2. Saga Bird Moogle for a 3/3. But that's all the ones you can fit in, including this one I'm about to talk about, which is probably one of my favourites.
It's a fascinating thought process, the idea of Saga creatures to be copied. Because you wouldn't think of it. That is a very strange and interesting ability. Absolutely.
And they're not legendary. But this one is Summon Yojimbo. Summon is a white and 3 Saga Samurai with Vigilance, and he's a 5/5. His first chapter, exile target artifact, enchantment, or tapped creature an opponent controls. You're doing that twice.
It's just removal on a stick.
Removal on a stick. It's not like Summon Ixion. Summon Ixion's one says you can exile a card and then it returns when Ixion leaves the battlefield. That doesn't work so well. But this one is like permanent removal. It hits second. It gets worse. Its second and third chapters are until your next turn, creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each of those creatures. So basically, you've got a ghostly prison or a propaganda baked into Yojimbo.
Let us break down what happens on each turn, shall we? Because on turn 1, Josh plays Yojimbo and goes, cool, I exile your best blocker. And you go, well, that's a terrible start to proceedings. Then Josh attacks with Satya and makes a tapped and attacking copy of Yojimbo and exiles your best attacker as well. So then you go, well, I guess I'll use my turn to rebuild, because what else am I going to do? You rebuild on your turn, and then on the next turn, it's ghostly prison, so you can't attack with anything anyway.
Yep. I would like to point out that the creatures that you exile have to be tapped in order to exile them. So
the thing I attacked you with.
Yeah. His 4th chapter is... I found it is better in multiplayer games rather than in a one-on-one game. It's create X treasure tokens, where X is the number of opponents who control a creature with power 4 or greater. So in a one-on-one with me and Chris, it's just going to create 1. But in other games, it could create more than that. But if you've got multiple copies of Yojimbo, he's a 4-mana creature, so it takes 4 energy to keep him around. By the time he comes onto the battlefield, you're almost guaranteed to have at least 4 energy if you've not been using it to keep other creatures around. So you could at least have 2 copies of them around.
And I will say that if you find a creature, I don't think I've looked for one because it's totally not my playstyle, that says when it enters exile target creature, because destroy you can get around. Indestructible exists. You can find ways to stop that being a thing. But exiling something, there's a reason that Swords to Plowshares and the Path to Exile and a bunch of other classically good removal effects are exile effects, because they're so hard to do anything about. And then the creature is, unless it's your commander, gone. You can't recast it. You can't recur it from your graveyard. It no longer exists. It is removed from the game. So you are, whatever you had, it doesn't matter. Exile effects are brutal. So the ability to literally have it on a stick, so every time you attack, every time Satya attacks, I'll just exile that as well. Just, your board is gone. Your board is finished.
What also sort of sweetens the deal a bit is the fact that Yojimbo is a 5/5, so it's still very big.
Yeah, it is a big creature.
Yeah,
I love it. We could have a whole episode talking about removal in Magic and what the value is, what the non-value is. It's the ability to recur something that does it over and over again. I have one of my decks has a lot of O-rings. We talked about Oblivion Ring effects earlier, where you exile something under it until it leaves the battlefield. The ability to recur those is diabolical, because someone goes, oh, well, I'll play this really powerful thing to attack you with. They go, cool, that's fine. I will play this Oblivion Ring equivalent Fiend Hunter's a creature that does it, for example. I'll play this Fiend Hunter. You go, cool, I'm going to put your really powerful thing under that. And they go, oh, that's a shame. Okay, I'll play something else. You go, that's worse. Right. You have your turn, because it's got summoning sick, and then on my turn, I will either recur this Fiend Hunter, so you can get your big thing back that you had last time, that's fine. And I will get the worst one. And here's another Oblivion Ring effect to get the other one as well, by the way. So you get into this horrible, like, I can't do anything style effect where you're like, and none of my stuff sticks around. None of it stays. It all disappears, comes back. I don't know whether I'm going to have it or not have it based on... And if you can do that at instant speed on their turn, the thing that comes back is Summoning Sick. So it's just... you can't do anything.
I can't remember if I spoke about it in our Squall episode, but there was a card that I have in that deck which is called Cooped Up, which does a similar sort of thing.
Yes.
Put it underneath it, but then you can spend mana to permanently exile the card, but then the Cooped Up goes to the graveyard.
Right.
But then when Squall deals combat damage, because it's mana 3 or less, you just bring it straight back to the battlefield and do it again.
Yeah, the deck I'm talking about is a Queen Kayla deck, and we'll talk about it some because it's really cool. But yes, it plays loads of these things in one go. It can play 3 because it plays things out of the graveyard effectively, and you put a ton of cards in the graveyard, then play a lot of them out, and then you can recur them from the graveyard. You create these horrible cycle effects. It means every turn the other person's going, well, I guess none of my stuff exists, and that's kind of... Exile effects are so hard to fight, counter, get back from. It is a brutal way to play the game. So yes, Summoning Jimbo is a brutal card. If you put it in your deck, your friends will be cross. Putting it out.
This is always cross at me when I play it. But yeah, that's my last card.
No, like, even it's not so much cross. It's the like, you reach a point in a game where, especially in a 2-player game, where the other person is going to win, and you want to let them do all their cool things and win. There's also part of you that goes, can I just pick up my cards, please? I don't want to have to watch all my stuff go. I don't watch my entire board just do all my things.
It's been so long doing all this.
Yeah. I'm going to spend... I don't like taking the last word out of your deck, but there's an effect we haven't talked about, which is really good in a Satya deck. The thing I'm going to talk about is goading. Goading is very simple. It is an effect that says when you goad a creature, you can goad any creature you want. With the effect, it'll often say goad this creature, goad that creature. It has to attack, and if it can, it can't attack you. So if there's 3 players and you goad... if it's me, Josh, and a random person, if I goad the random person's creature, it has to attack Josh. That's just what goad means. If Josh is then out of the game, doesn't matter if I goad it, it has to attack me. So goading is not great in a 2-player game, so it doesn't come up very often when Josh and I play.
It does force you to attack, though. It does force you to attack.
It's true. Yeah. Which can be quite useful in decks like an Anzrag deck, where if you block something, you get extra combats, like stuff like that. There are ways to utilize goad. Goad is great, really, really great, in a deck where you have to attack with your commander. This is a general point of a call because it forces them to attack. So less creatures have vigilance means the creature's tapped, so it can't block you when you attack next turn. I'm going to call up Agitator Ant, which is a classic piece of goad and is really good in this deck. At the beginning of your end step, each player may put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature they control. Goad each creature that counters put on it this way. That's good because it means you're probably goading their best thing to attack each other and not you. That's really good. Also, it says each player, that includes you. If you want to kill them with commander damage, you can goad your own Satya to attack every combat, which you want to do anyway, and put 2 1/1 counters on it every turn, which means it's suddenly hitting. That plus the redemption arc, that would be fun. Imagine you redemption arc your own, and then you goad everyone else, and you're building yours up. Suddenly, like, oh god, this indestructible commander is now about to kill me with commander damage. Yeah. Anyway, that's the last one I'm going to throw in. But yes, goading is a very cool effect in decks that require you to attack because it forces everyone to tap things down. So it gives you more free reign.
Yeah. So that's it. That's it. That's all of our. That's the cards that are on our list. My deck list for Satya will be down below. If there's any cards that we didn't talk about in this sort of little chat, or if there's anything on my deck list that you think you have any suggestions or anything, or any if you have a Satya deck and if there are any cards that you'd like to mention about, we've seen quite a few comments that people have put, and we've had discussions with people in the comment section about cards that they've chosen and all that sort of stuff, which has been really good. So please feel free to put your suggestions down below. 9 times out of 10 there'll be cards that I've never heard of, and I'll go, oh, good shout. So
there are over 30,000 cards in Magic. There will be cards we've not thought of.
Exactly.
And you are as smart as we are, if not more so. So please throw your suggestions down. I mean, if we get enough, it'd be fun to do an update saying, hey, about these 5. We should probably tell you about these. These are not from us.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to go. We will see you in a couple of weeks with our next episode. Who is our next Modern Horizons 3 commander, Chris?
Shilgengar. It's not a Pokemon. It sounds like one, but it really isn't.
No, I have a funny story about that, but we'll go into that in the actual session with Shilgengar. But anyway, we will see you next time. Goodbye.